Good evening. I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Stepppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our busy table tonight, Alan Smason, editor of the online Crescent City Jewish News. Hey, Alan.
Hey.
Hello. Poppy Tucker, host of the weekly program Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Hi.
Hey, Peg.
And making her debut from New York, singer Tara O'Grady, who sings Irish tunes and much, much more. And great to see you. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. And singer and band leader, and the list is much longer, Deacon John Moore. Hey, Deacon John. Also, a little later in our program, the Susan Larson, who covers the literary scene for us and, of course, for WWNO. We'll look forward to seeing her, too. But first up, Tennessee Williams and a little bit of booze.
Well, what am I wearing today?
Oh, yes, but before that, you're so very right. We've got a fava bean.
I'm very lucky. I'm wearing my lucky bean because it's St. Joseph's Day. What's going to happen on St. Joseph's Day,
Well, a
Peg?
lot of great altars, but on March the 19th, I'm going to be subbing for Tom Fitzmaurice on WWWL 1350, and you're going to be my first guest. So we look forward to talking about
It's going to be a fascinating hour from noon to 1 on Tom Fitzmaurice's show.
You betcha.
Without him, guess what?
Have a good time, Tom, on this trip.
Since we're talking St. Joseph's Day, of course, everybody can always go to the WYES calendar for a full listing of the altars, but it's a happy day when the Besh box shows up at my house. And the Besh box showed up, and it is filled with fantastic things. There's a St. Joseph medal, everything you need to have a big Italian celebration. There's basil seeds, there's a garlic press, there's a ravioli maker, there's, oh my goodness, mission figs to make fig cookies so good. So check out that Besh box. You can get it as a one-off. You can get it every month. It's a happy day when the Besh box shows up. But Tennessee Williams Festival coming on us next week. And this Tennessee Williams Festival seems to have more food and drink opportunities than usual in years past. And sadly, the food's sold out, but the liquor still remains. And so I strongly remember that everybody consider going to the 5:30 cocktail hour.
Well, absolutely, but we just had to show you this precious illustration that they've used by Arthur Need, who actually created the first Tennessee Williams logo. But we've used this over the years for all food and drink related activities.
It is adorable. Well, there is plenty to drink and eat too still. So both Friday and Saturday, the best deal at the festival, for $5 at 5:30 at the Monteleone, you can hear cocktail expert Elizabeth Pierce talk about both the cocktail hour tolerance of excess and how New Orleans was the wettest city in America during Prohibition. And then on Sunday, you should join Elizabeth with her co-authors, Allison Alsop and Richard Reed, as they discuss spirited tipplers in New Orleans. They just recently came out with the New Orleans Cocktail Companion, and they explored over 100 bars while doing that very difficult research. And they're fascinating. I've had them on Louisiana Eats. Don't miss that program. It'll be great. And it's only $10. And throughout the entire festival, Dickie Brennan's Tableau Restaurant is hosting a pre-theater fixed price dinner menu, having a hard time getting that out. But even if you don't go for dinner, which is entirely inspired by Tennessee Williams' works, stop by for a mint julep because all of their proceeds go to benefit the foundation.
And that, I want you to know, that is inspired by Maureen Detweiler, one of our founders, and her great mint julep recipe.
Yum! So find that at Tableau this week. Then another huge find just opened uptown. Mark and Constance Slatter, who of course are the owners of Tujague's restaurant. They were involved in planning this fantastic wine shop long before the sad loss of Mark's dad last year, which led to them taking over and doing the lovely redo of Tujague's that happened. And their new shop is called Bin 428. It's just opened. It's on Magazine Street, right at Washington, and it really is a special place designed to have something for every palate. It's a huge, big, beautiful spot, and they intend to be the #1 stop wine shop in New Orleans, the only place you'll have to go. Great selection of wine gifts. You can find wines like Opus One, priced at over $200. That's one of the finest wines in the world, to delicious drinkable choices for under $10. And it's not just wine, but there's great beer and whiskeys that I haven't seen for sale before anywhere. Note, on Magazine Street, there's parking in the back, and they'll deliver uptown. And you can go to bin 428 to pick up your Good Eggs groceries Monday through Friday from 4 until 7 p.m. So it is a fabulous new spot, and go in and see our friends, the Ladders, because they're great folks.
We wish them well. And Tara, speaking of wishing well, your parents are from Ireland, but you live in New York.
Yes.
And you're down here for some Irish activities, some good old St. Patrick's Day. Yes. Yes, when tomorrow, first up, you're going to, I know you've been performing this week, but you're going to be on the radio tomorrow on WWOZ first up on Sean's show. And then tomorrow night, though,
Tomorrow night,
you're going to be
I'll be
at
the Irish Cultural Museum.
Huh?
Yeah.
And now, the description, and of course your latest CD, which is a good indication, it's what Celtic meets the Cotton Club. So your style is sort of a mix of what Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday. Tell us about that.
Well, I grew up on Irish traditional music. My dad's a fiddle player, but my brother studied jazz, so I always heard jazz at home. So I combined the Irish songs, but I play them and sing them in a jazz swing blues style. And
speaking of that, let's have some show and tell. We're going to go to an excerpt from Go Lassie Go.
Go Lassie Go.
Tell us about that as we set up.
Go Lassie Go is a traditional Irish song, and I filmed it in New York at Coney Island and in a local Queens Park, the music video, and we just swing the heck out of it.
All right, well, let's take a look.
Oh, the summertime is coming, and the trees are sweetly blooming, and the wild mountain thyme grows around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? And we will all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? I will build my love about near yon pure crystal fountain, and on it I will pile all the flowers of the mountain. Will you go, lassie, go?
All right. And of course, you can get much more of a taste tomorrow on the radios. We sit on WWOZ, and then tomorrow night at the Irish Cultural Museum. What are some of your favorite songs in terms of Irish songs?
Well, I have to say, even though some Irish will say they're sick of the song Danny Boy, I do it more of a jazz standard. So, and it's the song that started my recording career. So I have to say Danny Boy because, again, I swing it.
And we have the Irish Cultural Network to thank for bringing you down here.
Yes, the Irish Network of New Orleans sponsored my trip down here, and they've been very generous and taking me all about town, so I'm having a blast.
And if folks want to know more about you, your website?
TaraO'GradyMusic.com.
All right, all right. And now, you have been to New Orleans before.
Yes, I have.
But never during this time of the year, though, huh?
No, I've never been down here. I usually stay in Manhattan for St. Patrick's weekend month because everything's green. We call it March Madness in New York because every night of the week there is something to do, a party, and it's a big Irish community up there. So. And
I understand, it's sort of at the last minute, I just found out you're going to be in the parade, the St. Patrick's Day parade tomorrow on the Irish Channel.
Yes, and I did not know that. I thought I'd be throwing beads, but apparently I hear you throw vegetables.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you're throwing food away.
You know, it's to the crowd. You're not throwing it. Yeah, we get to enjoy the cabbage that you might throw us.
If they throw chocolate at me, I'll be very happy.
Okay. Well, great to see you, and I hope you come back again,
Thank you.
too. And we turn to Deacon John. We're in our musical mode, and this time in a little bit of a sacred musical mode, huh, sir?
Yes, it's going to be quite a sacred event tomorrow at the New Orleans Healing Center. It's the 3rd annual New Orleans Sacred Music Festival, and this year our theme is Kindred Spirits. And we're having a whole assortment of people who will be performing sacred music. I'm one of them.
Yes, I'm excited by that.
First of all, we have to thank our generous sponsors, the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage and Festival Foundation, the New Orleans Musicians Assistance Foundation, and especially the Interfaith Positive Vibrations Foundation, who improving our community through music.
All right. Now,
And
you're going to be playing at 5:35.
I'll be playing
I
at
understand. And we have a
5:35,
picture, I think, from last year, too, that will show
Yeah.
with you and Chuck Perkins and Charmain. Now, there you go. Y'all were obviously having a good time last time. Exactly. And then right before you, we've got Sean Johnson and the Wild Lotus Band. So it's a real mix. Of the schedule is on the website, I understand. So
Yeah.
it's everybody throughout the day, too. What will you be playing?
I will be playing a performance of gospel music, church music. I'll be doing some old Negro spirituals, and I'll be singing my signature song, Many Rivers to Cross. As you all know, that is a very spiritual message included in Many Rivers to Cross, because it talks about people's struggles in daily lives and how we can overcome them. So I'll be singing like, Ave Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena, Ave, Ave Dominus, Dominus tecum. I'll sing the rest of it when you come tomorrow night.
Be a cliffhanger. Oh, wonderful, though. Thank you for that gift. Yay. Try to follow that, Susan Larson. But thank you again.
It's going to be just a lovely festival. We have 101 drummers with War Chief Juan Prado, mantra music with Sean Johnson and the Wild Lotus Band, gospel messengers, the Mahumi Shara Taiko drums, Louisiana Source ASEAN Voodoo ceremony, Chuck Perkins performing with spoken word hip-hop music, along with something very unusual, which would be the medieval choral star Claudia Copeland. She'll be performing with Mr. Perkins, Chuck Perkins, who's also the proprietor of the venue we're going to be performing in the New Orleans Healing Center.
Okay, I guess Cafe Istanbul
Cafe
is very much a part of it,
Istanbul
too.
is the name.
All right.
And this year there's something new. We're going to include a youth experience, especially for kids engaged in music and culture, faith and interfaith. And we're going to have a breakfast with them, and I'll be at the breakfast.
Okay, so you have a full day.
To meet and greet these young
very
kids.
good.
And, well, I really thank you for this opportunity to come on and tell about this wonderful festival, because, you know, music is the healing force of the universe. And it's the universal language for everyone. And I'm just so glad to be a part of this. You're going to see a side of the real Deacon John, because I have an extensive background singing church music. That's where I started out, church music, glee clubs, and I'm a big fan of gospel music. I saw Johnny Taylor, Sam Cooke with the Soul Stirrers, and oh, God.
Well, thank
it's
you.
going
It's
to
such
be
a blessing
really
to
quite
have
an
you here.
experience tomorrow.
Once again, New Orleans Sacred Music Festival.com. Thank you, Deacon John. And another festival coming up. Oh, my. And a
festivals
special
all the
prize.
time. I tell you, I'm glad Deacon John has warmed up his vocal cords for a Stella later. Because everybody ought to be warming up their vocal cords for the Stanley and Stella shouting contest. But it is the 28th festival. Who could believe it's 28 years old already? And it's amazing this year to think of what a range of topics are being covered in these panels. I mean, that's, you know, the hard work, the literary panels, of
And
course.
you're the program chair, so we got to give you a lot of credit, kiddo.
But there will be topics, such topics as the history of New Orleans newspapers and contemporary newspapers as well. The 25th anniversary of Louisiana Cultural Vistas, that terrific magazine, memoirs, Southern history, all kinds of things. And there's so many new, cutting edge of the moment writers like Jamie Attenberg, Bill Chang, John Freeman, Roxane Gay, Laura Laura Vandenberg. They're going to be telling us great, great stories. And musicians like the Hot 8 Brass Band and, you know, Michael White and Tom Sankton and Luke Winslow King. That's going to be a lot of fun, too. Great food events, as you pointed out, Poppy, with Michael Murphy, Kit Wool, and Poppy. And it's just an exciting time. And some of the things I'm especially excited about are these. We have power couple Emily Raboteau and her husband Victor LaValle coming, and they judged our fiction contest this year, which is a very generous thing, an act of love, reading all that stuff. And her new book is a book called Searching for Zion, The Quest for Home in the African Diaspora, about her travels in Israel, Jamaica, and Ethiopia. And his new novel is an amazing book called The Devil in Silver. So at 10 o'clock next Friday, they'll be announcing the winners of the Fiction Festival. And there's always something very sweet about that. It's like the well-known writers giving the nod to the young ones coming along. So that's a really sweet event. And then they'll be on a panel about literary collaboration Saturday at 11:30 with our own Bill Lofilm and A.C. Lambeth. And then homegirl Valerie Martin's coming back, you know, Mary Riley. And she has a fabulous new book called The Ghost of the Mary Celeste. And it's a ghost story. It's a sea adventure. It's an historical novel. It's about the rise of spiritualism in the United States. And she will be here for a panel called The Devil You Don't Know, Friday, March 21st at 1, and then Choose Your Own Misadventure on Sunday at 1. And then Dani Shapiro, who's one of my favorite memoirists. That's one of the fun things about this, to bring the writer you want to meet. And she's a novelist and memoirist. Her new book is called Still Writing, The Perils and Pleasures of a Creative Life. And you know, perils come first, obviously. And she'll be doing a master class called The Survival of the Storyteller. And that's Friday, March 21st at 3. And then she'll be on a panel Sunday, March 23rd at 11:30 called The Return of the Essay. And then there is something new this year, dear to my heart, the Diana Pinckley Prizes for Crime Fiction. And this is to honor our good friend Diana Pinckley, who was for a long time the mysteries columnist at the Times-Picayune, a great civic activist, writer herself. And a lot of her passion was mystery fiction. So these prizes honor two writers.
We miss her so much.
We do every day. And these prizes honor two writers, one for a distinguished body of work, and the person getting that award this year is Laura Lippman, our part-time New Orleanian. We love her. And she has quite a body of work, having written 19 books. This is her 19th book after I'm gone. And then a young woman, a former journalist from Montana named Gwen Florio, is the winner of the Debut Novel Prize. And they'll both be appearing at different events at the festival. But the prizes will be presented Saturday at 5 o'clock at the Beauregard Kai's house. So we hope lots of people will come for that. And then there are two really fun dueling events Saturday night. And one is Late Night with Elmore Leonard at the Hotel Montleon. A lot of people forget Elmore Leonard was born here. And we lost him recently and love him, so it's good to celebrate his writing. And that will be a late night event put on by the People Say Project at 8 o'clock Saturday. And then another thing that's been a really fabulous tradition at the festival is the reading that takes place Saturday night. And this year it's called The Place That I Was Made For, Tennessee's Love Affair with New Orleans. And this event is curated by, that's at Le Petit Theater. But this event's curated by Thomas Keith, who knows so much about Tennessee Williams, and Paul Willis, the executive director of the festival. And it's really lovely to see all our stars come together and read his words, especially about New Orleans. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Of course, for more information, TennesseeWilliams.net. It's an easy website to remember. And very memorable, of course, was Mr. Memphis.
Well, I want to say we're going to take a little side trip from New Orleans to Memphis first.
Yeah.
Memphis won a total of 4 Tony Awards in 2010, back when it won Best Musical, Best Book, Best Score, and Best Orchestration. Unfortunately, that year, it was up against American Idiot, Fella, and $1 Million Quartet. Not necessarily the stiffest of competition, but it did win the best that year. So in an off year, it was the best. And in most other years, Memphis probably wouldn't have risen to the same level as some of the best. But let's take a look and see what makes special this Memphis outing at the Sanger Theater. Well, with music and lyrics by David Bryan of Bon Jovi fame and book and lyrics by Joe DiPietro, Memphis is well staged, well danced, well sung, and an antiseptic version of what it was like to essentially be at the beginning of the rock and roll era. The time when race music was termed race music, when only the music that was heard on the black radio stations would only be heard there and not on the white radio stations. Joey Elrose as DJ, Huey Calhoun and Jasmine Richardson as Felicia are both great. Elrose is helped along by Raymond Thomas, who plays Felicia's brother, and there's several others in the cast who are really standouts. Memphis continues at the Sanger through Sunday, and it really is worth checking out.
All right.
Now, let's go on to the Tennessee Williams Festival in real. If it's the second or third week, we have, obviously in March, we have to be talking about Tennessee Williams. This year's some really super Williams play offerings are including the NOLA Project's Cat on a Hot Tin Roof at Le Petit next weekend, and Night of the Iguana, which I'll review shortly. First of all, there are a couple of other things that we wanted to mention. Hotel plays of Tennessee Williams are going to be presented. That's Green Eyes, which had its premiere in 2008 in Provincetown. Considered probably his most kinky of works. I'm not that sure about it myself. I haven't seen it, but I understand it's a little provocative. It stars Jamie Page and Matt Reen, who are going to reprise their performances from a couple of years ago. Also, The Traveling Companion with Jeremy Lawrence and Matt Story, a story about a neurotic writer and his male hustler companion. And then there's Mr. Paradise, starring Francesca McKenzie, about a woman who seeks out the wisdom of a writer who's also a little bit of a neurotic recluse.
So these are all part of the hotel
all
plays.
And all three plays are going to be presented at the Herman Grimma House in 3 different rooms, so festival goers will be steeped in history as well as theater at the same time. The performances run Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, March 20th through the 22nd. And there's a gala performance fundraiser this coming Wednesday night at 6:30. If you need to know more about that, go to TennesseeWilliams.net. One of the other pieces we wanted to talk about is Vivien. This stars Judith Chapman. She returns to the festival with a Rick Foster one-woman play titled Vivien. It's obviously on the life of Vivien Leigh, the screen actress who famously played Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind and Blanche Dubois in A Streetcar Named Desire. The Thursday night performance includes a reception at Dickie Brennan's Tableau Restaurant, Poppy. Tickets are $35. The Saturday night performance is just $25 on March the 22nd. Now, let's move on to Night of the Iguana. Mike Harkins, his reputation as a sound designer is superlative. He has really made his mark as a sound designer. But in recent years, he has come on really strong as a manifest actor. His superb supporting roles in The Weird, 33 Variations, and Pride and Prejudice have really put him into a leading man role. And in The Night of the Iguana, as the Reverend T. Lawrence Shannon, the confused, defrocked Episcopal priest who questions the existence of God and who takes advantage of inexperienced young women, might be his greatest role so far. Tennessee Williams' depiction of the downward spiral of this self-loathing wreck of a man is the real focus of this play. Knowing he needs to maintain his sobriety, he stays away from alcohol for at least a portion of it, but he's trying to more or less hold on to his one last vestige in life that he has, which is as a tour operator. This is a former priest, of course. The relationship, though, between Shannon and Hannah Jelks, a New England spinster, is really the heart of this particular play. She travels with her aged grandfather, Nono, played by Bob Eads Jr., who, of course, steals a number of scenes. That's Aimee Hayes, who scored recently in Pride and Prejudice and also in A Streetcar Named Desire. She loves playing these refined Southern women, and again, I think she loves Tennessee Williams. Troy Bechet also is in this, and I will say that while Phil Cornell makes at least one directorial choice that's the equivalent of a little bit of theater overkill, this Southern repertory production is really worth seeing, and it's fairly close to the vision that the playwright had intended. That's going to be all part of the Tennessee Williams Festival. It's going to be at the Art Club, so there it is in 513 Elysian Fields. Also, something of very keen interest to me, for those of you who are operatic devotees, if you will, George Chadwick wrote a comic opera, or operetta, if you will, in 1894 that premiered here and was taken on the road to Boston and New York. And apparently the theme revolves about a chef who finds Tabasco as the secret sauce to make his food more palatable. Well, because of some financial misdeeds, the road show was closed, and it has not seen the light of day for 120 years until Paul Maufrey discovered the original manuscript. He is actually bringing it back. He has 22 members of the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra, 20 members of the New Orleans Opera Chorus, 5 principal performers who mostly hail from Loyola University, and are all bringing back Tabasco tomorrow night at Trinity Church. It's free and open to the public.
All right, thank you so much, Alan. And now it is time for our Artist Spotlight. Tonight we are featuring Zulu by local cartoonist Funny Matthews. Originally from Monroe, Louisiana, Matthews is best known for creating the colorful characters Vic and Natalie Broussard. His current exhibit, The People of New Orleans from from A to Z is on view through April 19th at Arthur Roger Gallery on Julia Street. There will be an opening reception the first weekend in April. Visit arthurrogergallery.com to see more of his images. And don't forget to visit WYES.org to see our online calendar, including information on NOLA Fashion Week and a link for a list of St. Joseph altars for next week. New Orleans Magazine's Quiz Queen, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last time, Don Lagarde gave us names of 2 New Orleans St. Tammany's, of course, towns that sit near opposite ends of the Tchefuncte River, Covington and Madisonville. Now, tonight's question. The title of 3 Tennessee Williams' works mentions a season in them. Name 2. Email your answers to stepppinout@wyes.org. Our prizes: a Louisiana Life magazine subscription, a gift certificate for Vivien's Tea House, offering their culinary and gourmet tea experience for 2. Tonight we have a T-shirt is worn by WYES intern Mike Yoder, the message Claw and Order. And this week we have the Very Little Leprechaun Tale book and the Leaping Leprechaun, both from our friends at Pelican Publishing. And now our picks. Alan.
Well, I have a lot. I've got a lot of openings. Xanadu, Ladies of the Camellias, Perfect Wedding, and Hound of the Baskervilles is going to have to be the last one.
Okay,
all right?
Poppy.
Ultimate celebration for St. Patty's Day, the Irish House. Matt's even serving free cookies and coffee. It's starting 7 a.m. on St. Patty's Day, Monday morning. See the Irish House website for all the goings-on all weekend.
Susan.
Celebration of the written word tomorrow at the Hammond Regional Arts Center, their first ever literary festival.
All right. Deacon. Rock and Bowl?
Rock and Bowl
When?
tomorrow night, 9 p.m.
Can you yell? Thank you. Before we go to our picks, it is time for me to announce our Carnival quiz winners. The winner of a night stay for 2 at Homa's house, including breakfast and a $200 credit at Latiel's Landing, Deborah Griffith. The Mian Faget Fleur-de-Lis heart pendant, engraved with If Ever I Cease to Love, Karen Copeland, winner of Errol Laborde's book, Mardi Gras Chronicles of the New Orleans Carnival, Kathy Maestri, and the 2014 Rex Proclamation, won by Catherine Andressen, the DVD of the Rex Ball and Meeting of the Courts. Of course, that is Dee Montlezon. And the quiz answers and the list of the winners will be on our website starting Monday. Click on Carnival Quiz at WYES.org. Now my picks. On Sunday evening, WYES, the W Hotel, and Fashion Week NOLA present episode 1 of Masterpiece Theater's classic Mr. Selfridge, season 2. That's at the W Hotel in the French Quarter, Orange Chartis. Please visit WYES.org for more information, and there's a special drink associated with that too. Also, thanks to Maria Caccietta for bringing these wonderful cookies, compliments of Angelo's Bakery. They serve as a reminder that St. Francis Xavier Church on Metairie Road. Look at these, aren't they great? They'll have their St. Joseph altar next Tuesday and Wednesday, with a public feeding on Wednesday from 11:30 to 2 p.m. And you can see on your screen more information on all of that too. And so we look forward to enjoying the myriad of St. Patrick's Day parades and St. Joseph Parade. Thank you all very much. And
Happy Purim, too.
that's right. Yes, good night. Thank you.